Don't touch me!
Come back down here right now.
Don't touch me!
What's wrong with y'all?
Knock it off!
Everywhere you look, there are always those who think they can bypass the law due to their fame or status. These entitled individuals believe their privilege makes them untouchable. But do they really get away with it? Tune in as we reveal what happens when entitled people think they're above the law and see how justice catches up with them. Up next is a distress report from the police on the parking lot. They talk to this girl, who was the victim of some damages to her car. Luckily for the girl, she got the dude's license plate.
Do you want him arrested for hitting you, or do you just want like his insurance information?
I just want his insurance information.
Okay.
I don't want him to go to jail and stuff like that. That's not something I want. He just needs to be careful, like.
Right.
Well said, honestly. So the police get to work and track the perp down to this suburban village. Then they find this old man. They begin to question him.
Into an accident over on Greenwood.
I know.
You know?
I say I am gonna pay for anything.
Obviously, he's foreign with that accent, but they try to extract some identification out of him first. Apparently, he doesn't have any sort of ID.
How much have you had to drink tonight?
Excuse me?
Drink.
What do you think about this?
Because I can smell it.
Already, the case is stinking so hard. He doesn't have an ID, he reeks of alcohol, and he has no insurance on his car.
First name?
Joe Biden.
Okay, no. What is your name?
So you either have to identify yourself,
Yeah.
or we're gonna take you.
We're not playing games here. I mean,
You're gonna arrest me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're not gonna identify yourself?
Be careful, because sometimes I am. My son working from FBI.
Let's recap. He's named Joe Biden, and he claims his son works for the FBI. They ask him for an ID one more time, but the old man just keeps on boasting that his father and son are police. Look, the officers here just want his identification, but he either brags about his police heritage, or he asks them to look for it in his house. He does give one info about himself, though. He's Polish, and that's the cause of the language barrier.
Here's what I'm gonna say, okay? We're gonna give you one more chance. Tell this officer your name, so we can.
No.
We're gonna have to take you under arrest, okay?
Of course, he refuses, so he gets the cuffs. The two cops restrain him against the car, while the other tries to restrain him. He tries to make a break for it, but again, he's an old man. He's a bit resistant, but they already gave him one too many chances. He's escorted to the police van, but he had this to say.
I am not a chicken.
Put your feet in.
They report the charges, then they mark his car for a police tow. There seems to be a little dilemma with his cuffs and his jacket, so the two officers slowly remove it.
He was driving drunk.
Oh, drunk?
Yeah. So we're taking him to our lockup now. He's in our back seat, so we'll be leaving shortly once he. Do you know him well?
Yeah, my neighbor.
Fast forward to the jail. The old drunk was rather tedious to deal with because he just keeps on rambling and rambling. But he didn't put up much of a fight, honestly. On the way to the jail, he takes a trip, however.
Kind of police you are? What kind of police you are?
In all of this commotion while getting his cuffs removed, he even threatens one of the officers.
You wanna scare me?
I'm not trying to scare you.
Just
My father in Poland was he was policeman. He never was scared.
I'm not scared of you either.
No, but
I'm telling
he
you what it's
also
worth.
he also take care of guns.
He brags about his son yet again, so the cops encourage him to call his son allegedly from the FBI.
You're being like this.
Because I am a Polish hooligan.
You're a Polish hooligan? What does this mean?
Either this man is senile, drunk, or worse, or both. He's making no sense at the station. Then the officers even offer to buy him pizza.
What are you saying?
I don't wanna come back here with AK.
What's AK to you?
Automatic Kalashnikov.
Holy moly, that's quite grim to say in a police station. He was straight up threatening to shoot up the police, but he says he was only kidding. So this old man got booked for resisting arrest, driving under the influence, obstruction of identification, leaving the scene of an accident, and finally, assault. Hopefully he'll eventually sober up and actually tell the real story of what actually happened. Alright, our first offender on the list is this holier-than-thou Karen.
I really want your hands off of me. Actually, I really want to punch you in the face.
Already that bad, huh? Well, everyone, say hello to Karina. She's a bit of an unhinged case because apparently she was kicked off of a plane due to her psychotic treatment of the staff and the passengers alike. The 5-0 are on the scene now to get to the bottom of this case, that scene being the women's bathroom.
them right now.
Welcome.
Okay, I'm a police officer. I'm here to check on you.
Thank you. I need the cops to come right now.
Okay, open the stall. Let me.
I'm not comfortable to do that at this second.
So at first, you may sympathize with her because it sounds like she's just trying to get by, take a flight, and go to work. She even claims that the passengers were all right with her questioned behavior in the plane, but that's questionable at best.
Okay, do you want to come out here and I can help you out? What airline?
I don't feel sincere in your voice that you're gonna help me out.
I'm here to help you. What airline are you flying with?
Then Karina here says she was going to be kicked off the flight, but apparently she doesn't know why she wanted to be kicked off. Apparently, the flight crew are doing a power move. I mean, there's got to be a reason for this, right?
Obviously, I'm here, but I don't know. I don't trust you guys because the way that I got kicked off the plane was irrational. So no, I don't feel comfortable.
Alright, so she explains her vague plight to the female officers, and remember that she wanted cops to help her, but now she's questioning them. Like what?
So do you want to go to the ticket counter to try to get rebooked or get some help? Cause sitting in the yeah, they'll give you a refund.
I'll get a refund.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be going peachy, but then
Open the stall. I'll let you stay on the toilet, and I'm gonna stand right here. I'm not even gonna come in. I'm not even gonna come in.
You're gonna arrest me for what?
Who said I was gonna arrest you?
What do you mean you said my dad's a lieutenant?
Lieutenant where?
Does it matter?
of course it matters. Then she begins to lose it more and more, and she demands to call 911, which is where it gets funny.
Restricting me from 911 access. That's a felony. Don't do that. Don't judge yourself behind your phone.
We are the police when you call 911.
How ironic. So now, she still bars herself from the supposed 911 police, so they get a little iffy if she had anything to drink or not, but she denies it. Eventually, she does come to her senses in the hope that maybe if she acts civilized, she could get rebooked. She finally comes out and it looks like she's calmed down too. The female cop asks for identification and really asks her if she had anything to drink or not, because that could be the cause of this entire shenanigan. Afterwards, they get out. Then this happens.
I'm gonna call a lawyer.
For what?
Before I answer any more questions, I'm gonna call a lawyer.
Did you have anything to eat today?
I'm gonna call a lawyer. Before I
You have
answer
anything
any
to
more
eat?
questions, I'm gonna call a lawyer.
Did you have anything to eat today?
I'm gonna call a lawyer.
Have you eaten today?
Talk to my lawyer about it.
Okay. You haven't had anything to eat today?
Talk to my lawyer.
You take medication?
Talk to my lawyer.
Then the female guard asks around if Karina did anything, and it is quite inaudible, but one of the flight staff does confirm that she is drunk. Guess what, Karina? You're under arrest for public intoxication.
Because I talked to the airline and they said that you were kicking and screaming and causing a disturbance.
I'm not doing any of that.
So they begin to slowly hold her down and have her take off her backpack so that they could cuff her. But this is when it gets dirty. So they begin to use force, then they cuff her, they get her belongings, then she gets fidgety with being touched. In fact, all sanity gets thrown out the window when they reach the airport entrance. They hold her down because she gets a little too cuckoo. Then the female guard searches her bag for any shady stuff. They really don't find anything other than some sus-looking pills. Then they stand her up. Some moments later, boom, what a kick.
I said I don't want to touch
What
it.
don't you understand?
What don't
I
you
don't want
understand?
Do not kick the officers.
Do not kick an officer.
Geez, the male cop didn't even do anything wrong at this point. Karina gets escorted outside, but she keeps on yapping that she wants a lawyer.
We're done being nice. You already came nice. You already kicked them twice.
It takes a team of cops just for them to strap her down in the police SUV. They eventually arrive at the station. Then she suddenly claims her father is with the FBI. She's reluctant to be touched, but none can be the wiser. She gets booked and she begins to breathe rapidly like a bull.
I said no. I said no. I don't feel safe. I'm not touching anything. I don't trust any of you.
You don't need to touch
I don't trust any of you because I didn't do anything wrong.
This is about mandatory fingerprints, which is part of any booking process. Well, they asked nicely. Now it's time for more force. She accuses the cops of harassment and racism. Then she begins crying to the first female cop she talked to, and honestly, if she just cooperated calmly, this would have gone way smoother. It takes like 4 or 5 people just to print this chick.
I mean, there's cameras everywhere, so I mean, you're safe.
I know my GPS is here. I'm not safe with you. I don't want you touching me. I really want your hands off of me. Actually, I really want to punch you in the face.
And with that being said, it's jail time. Karina had the charges of resisting arrest, assaulting a public servant, and public intoxication. Next time, leave the drinks for the ground, not on the air. There's a pattern emerging in all of these cases so far. It's inebriation, aka being drunk. This is a case taking place at night, and the cops got this dude in a truck cornered. The one time asks for the usual license, then he tells the charge at hand.
So look, the reason why I'm stopping you is you were kind of all over the road back there. You almost ran that car off the road. I don't know if you noticed.
I have this terribly sorry about it. I have this 97 right here, and I have an absolutely terrible death wobble. I don't know if you ever heard of it with the Fords, but they anything over 50 miles per hour with this lifted suspension. It is
pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
Eventually, he does give up his ID. Then the truth comes out.
Have anything to drink tonight by chance?
I had a drink earlier.
Okay. How many drinks?
One.
Just one?
One of the cops then comes back with a sobriety test just to keep things in tip-top shape, and Ian Smith here actually agrees to the test and steps out slowly. The cop makes sure he doesn't have any other medical issues, and he's cleared from that. The sobriety test starts with the cop detecting his eyesight's focus. They do the test, and it seems like there's no issues there. So the next sobriety test is the positions of his feet and legs. The test begins, and he takes the steps slowly. Looks like he makes it through that as well. Time for the one-leg test. Basically, he just has to raise his legs slowly without falling off. He seems to have passed this as well, but suddenly...
All right, Mr. Smith, you want to be honest with me about how much you had to drink tonight?
I had one double margarita.
Double margarita? Okay. No. All right. Well, look, just based off my observations, okay, what your eyes are telling me, I'm just going to take you into custody, okay, for driving while intoxicated tonight, okay? So if you could just put your hands in the small of your back for me.
What a plot twist. They cuff him, but he seems confused why they're taking him back to the station. Looks like the test said he's too drunk for driving, but he wants to take the breath test to see his intoxication levels. The cops and Ian get into a bit of an info dump of what's going to happen, which keeps on getting repeated over and over again. They walk him slowly to the police car, which he actually complies with. Then the cops checked his truck for anything that could cause drunkenness, but nothing was found yet. They got his keys, then they say his truck will be impounded. In the vehicle, here's how the conversation goes.
Based off my observations, you did not pass.
You haven't specified anything.
Okay. It will be indicated in my report. Also, it's more than just my observations of your test, your driving. Okay, it's all on my dash cam. How poor your driving was, how poor your tests were. So all that gets indicated in the report.
On the bright side, Ian seems to be cooperating seemingly well with the law enforcement so far. He was mostly quiet during the ride, until this pops up.
Congressional candidate in this district, right?
Oh, that's a bit of a trump card. To be fair, those sobriety tests look really faulty. They should have left this one with the standard breath test because Ian actually looks innocent here.
Who saw him choke me to the ground? Who saw me?
I saw you run through the door when you weren't supposed to, and I saw him push you out the door.
So if you did get it, this old bag rushed towards the airline queue, then apparently she got choke slammed.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
Judging from the reactions of the passengers, I'd say she's probably overreacting.
I'm the manager of the airport here! Nobody would stand up and said this girl was chokeholded by a passenger. Hey. Shame on all of you!
And there it is, the magic words. You see, it all started when people reported a disturbance. Then the cops came in. This is when the woman known as Terry Ann Blues started her whole dramatic fiasco.
Ma'am, calm down.
Listen, I'm fine. I need to get to my great aunt's memorial service.
All right, that's reasonable that she's in quite a stir because a loved one passed away. But this sentence is the green light for all of the schizo ramblings.
My God, what is wrong with America?
Calm down. Calm down.
No, that guy needs to be arrested.
Come on, let's go over here.
You saw it. You saw it. You saw it.
Ma'am.
You saw it.
Ma'am.
He chokeholded me.
So this unlucky officer tries to console her to a corner. Then it leads to that iconic boo-hoo scene from earlier. Then she loudly rants to the officer.
Nobody wants to stand up for me.
Then, of course, she asks for the manager repeatedly. She also keeps repeating the same story over and over again.
No, there's cameras. What are you talking about? Oh my God!
Eventually, he gets her to calm down by just a little bit. Then she starts pointing fingers here and there. So another officer tries to console the screeching banshee. Then this cop tries to get info on what really happened. Apparently, Terry was too impatient, rushed to the plane's gate. She was warned several times. She tried to rush to the airplane gates. Then she did actually get a neck hold from some random dude, then got thrown to the ground. What a tale. So now she's denied boarding. And here he is, the alleged choke slammer of this whole shebang.
What happened? She came rushing through the door. I pushed her back.
So back to Terry, and her story doesn't change. Chokeslam, great aunt's memorial, blah blah blah, you know the rest.
Nobody would help me. Nobody. Nobody.
I'm here to help you.
Please.
Eventually, a miracle happens. They finally get her to come out of that hole.
Yeah, everybody, thank you for sticking up for me.
Yish lady, stop screaming. She just keeps on blaming everyone else and how no one helped her. She eventually drinks her water, and we're back to square one.
It's not fair.
Keep breathing, Terry.
That girl at the reservation desk, she did it. She sent him on me. I didn't do anything wrong. I checked in. I asked for an early check-in.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm never flying again. I can't stand America. I'm moving to Spain.
There it is, the inebriation confession. So the officers check other health facts about Terry, but she keeps on escalating her tone. Eventually, they recover her stuff, and they ask for identification, to which she angrily gives up. Then one of the officers does confirm the incident, that it was just a push rather than the alleged chokehold. Eventually, they ask her for the receipt of the drinks for the investigation. Then Terry does the usual.
How much did you have to drink today?
I had a couple of margaritas. You can go talk to the bartender. Okay. I had a very fine time with those people until I got here.
So the verdict of the scenario is clear. Now it's time to cuff Terry, which is a problem of itself.
Everybody saw it.
Terry.
Nobody would stand up and said this girl was chokeholded by a passenger.
Terry.
Shame on all of you.
They finally restrain her. Then they sit her down, but she loudly whines about her wrists being cut by the cuffs. It's clear-cut that the officers are really trying to help her, but she's too chaotic. She fidgets from side to side. Then they slowly escort her away. Despite the wheelchair escort, one officer even had to lift her legs up just so she wouldn't fidget around too much. She keeps complaining about her legs and arms. So one of the officers actually let go of her legs, but she whines nonetheless and shouts for her lawyer. She gets loudly dragged to the police vehicle.
Oh, I'm being arrested for being chokehold. Please, somebody film this. Please, someone film this.
She's being recorded, ma'am.
Please, someone film this. I can't miss this flight. I can't miss this flight.
Right. Stand up, Terry.
And the hardest part about this job, actually loading her into the police vehicle. She loudly begs for help. Then they repeatedly ask her to get into the vehicle, but she just echoes out a bellow of cries instead. Soon the cops even loosen the cops and let go of one arm, but she's out for blood, so they go back to cuffing her. They exhausted their nicer options, so now they forcibly carry her inside the vehicle. She's finally in and they drive off. Inside it really gets racy, so let's just move on ahead. They pull into the garage and she finally walks on her own for once.
Fine, I want my lawyer. You're all happy. My aunt deserved better than this.
She begins to cry as she's getting searched, but she begins to fidget wildly again. And finally, jail time.
Oh, right, this is great. I'm writing the President of the United States about this. Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
At this point, the jokes write themselves. Then she gets sat down as they remove the two cuffs. Then she finally gives up, but not before condemning them all and asking for a lawyer. Terry was finally charged with public intoxication, resisting arrest, and possession of illegal substances. This last one is a bit of a doozy, mainly because it's quite ironic. This shiny orange Vetta belongs to one Larry Ellison. He's just a billionaire. You may or may not have heard of him.
The reason I stopped you is you ran through the stop sign and you were kind of speeding there. Any reason why in particular?
I was trying to get home for dinner with my kids, but there's no excuse.
Okay, cool. Can I see your driver's license, registration, and insurance?
So much for this billionaire, because like the Polish felon from a few entries ago, this guy doesn't have his IDs on him. What's even more ironic is that Larry Ellison here actually owns 98% of the island. That officer really did his job well with no biases. As for Ellison, amazingly, he cooperates with the officer, but his case is still rather up in the air. This next one's a bit of a wild card, because the perpetrator in question is apparently a state judge.
What's going on today, ma'am? Okay, well, we got some reports that you were inside of Safeway.
Yes.
And you're walking around stumbling, and you got back in your vehicle.
This doesn't look good for her case. Her name is Sel Hancock, and she's our person of interest for this entry. Basically, there's been a report floating around that Ms. Seal here was acting rather inappropriately, which is where this next curveball comes in.
So my next question to you, ma'am, is have you been drinking today? You haven't been drinking today. Okay. Are you having a medical condition today or a medical issue?
The judge apparently has some sort of seizure disorder, but this gets really iffy once you catch her changing her story.
Have you consumed any alcohol today?
Earlier today I did, yes.
Earlier today?
Earlier.
Like when you mean earlier, how earlier?
A couple hours ago.
A couple hours ago? How much did you drink?
A couple of glasses of wine.
Okay. And were you at home when you did this or were you out? You were at home?
Already, mixing up her stories is a big no-no in the eyes of the law. Then the cops give her a bit of an inebriation test, standing on one leg. She stalls by making the other officers stand on one leg. Then one of them even has to demonstrate how to do it. Afterwards, she stalls some more by saying her shoes are both bad, but the cops finally get her to stand on one leg, and she fails within a second. Next is an intoxication test, and it's looking worse and worse for her.
I still can't go to jail.
No, we're not saying you're going to jail, man.
She's already feeling guilty, then she eventually cries and discloses that she is a judge. Look, it's not illegal to say what you do for a living, but this is very sus in this case. She might think that because of her power the cops would ease up on her, but this is not the case of the law at all. She eventually did get arrested and jailed only for a day. Then she pleaded guilty to DUI and a $1,000 fine. Final verdict? She got off easy, honestly.